So welcome back to another tube teardown. Here we can see the product of last time, the ECH81, and today it's time to move on with our basic radio, moving on to the EBF89, the pentode double diode vacuum tube. This is quite an old tube, you can see by all the sputtering stains on the glass. So actually it's not broken, actually the glass is not broken, so the glass is still intact, but most of the parameters of the tube have been highly modified because of this overusage. So just like before, the first step will be to take off the glass envelope. So what's different about this tube compared to the previous teardowns is that the glass envelope is intact, and we can see this shiny part on the tip of the tube. This is actually made with highly reactive metals, of whose purpose is to react with any traces of air left behind during the tube production process, or if at a later time very small amounts of air get in. So we will see what happens to this once we break open the glass envelope. So let's begin. So let's also talk about what the purpose of the tube is inside the radio. We saw that the first tube is responsible for generating the intermediate frequency. Then the signal is filtered by the first intermediate frequency transformer. The pentode part of our tube is amplifying this signal, which then gets refiltered by the second intermediate frequency transformer. And then one of the diodes is responsible for detecting the signal. So basically taking out the audio part and filtering out the radio part, which then will end up being further amplified. So basically these are the main functions of our tube. So as you can see, I've broken through the glass. Think I did. There's a hole right there. But it seems that this upper layer of metal coating, it's starting to slowly react now. You can see that it's slowly losing its color, and now it will slowly react with all the air and it will turn white. So I just gotta finish cutting open the tube, and then we will be able to see exactly what's inside the tube. But you may be wondering, is there something more behind it? And you're right, there is something more. The diode doesn't just detect the signal, doesn't just extract the audio part, it's also part of a more complicated circuit that is responsible for automated gain control. So in the meantime, I managed to get this cut mostly done, and we can see that the reaction is now complete. We've got the white upper area of the tube, and also what we can see is that the material left behind by the sputtering right here in the middle is something different than what was on top. So on top usually we get barium compounds, and this in the middle might be iron or copper or whatever other materials the tube is made from. So let's see if we can open the tube slowly. Yeah, it's coming out. Or is it? There we go. And it's out. This is our EBF89 double diode pentode tube. We can see the getter up here, bent it out of shape. You can see the connections, the pins right below here. What's interesting to notice again that this outer edge is not the anode, it's actually connected to this screen around here, and this forms shield. So this ends up being connected to ground somewhere. Right here we got the pin going outside. So to see what's inside this tube, we're going to have to remove this outer casing. So first of all we can just unbend it from the upper side of the tube. And on the underside, it seems to be welded, so this might be a bit more difficult to remove. Now here we can see a much simpler version of our circuit. We have our amplifying pentode. It's taking the signal from the first intermediate frequency transformer, filters it through the second intermediate frequency transformer, and then the signal gets detected by the diode, which in our case is in the same tube. Now, first of all, we get the audio signal going out through C3, but we also get a secondary signal coming through R2 and C2. So this is the average DC part of our signal, which is used to drive the grid of the first tube. Basically, this is an automated gain control circuit, meaning the larger the signal we have, the more negative bias we get into the tube, giving us a lower gain. The purpose of this is that in case you have a very strong station, you don't oversaturate the audio. So you will limit the gain for very strong stations, and then for weaker station you can get a much higher gain from your radio part. Now this sort of stage has some drawbacks. One of them being that no matter what the strength of the signal from your station is, you will start to decrease the gain. So is there a better way of doing this? So we can start to see the insides of the tube now. Slowly, gently. Actually the getter is connected to this outer screen, but it's also connected one of these grids. I think it's the third grid, preventing us from opening the tube properly. Almost there, yeah. So now we can clearly see where it was welded, and that's what was causing us all this trouble. So this outer screen, it's also connected to the insides. So we see that we have here a very nice shielding built. So all this thing is a shield. Here on the upper side of the tube, we can see in the middle the filament. So the filament is inside this tube. The outer shell is the cathode. And here on top of the tube, these two plates are actually the two diodes. So the diodes of the tube, one on each side of the cathode. Actually, they're not touching each other or the cathode. And they're going down to the pins through these shafts. And inside, so below these diodes, we can see the actual pentode part of the tube. So we have this outer anode, and inside again we can see all the grids. So let's see if we can cut open half the anode just to expose the grids and whatever is inside there. So here we can see the kind of circuit that the EBF89 was actually designed for. Here we need one pentode and two diodes. Now the difference between this circuit and the previous one is that one of the diodes, the first one, is used to generate the audio frequency. So we simply detect it, and through C3 the audio signal goes out. And the second diode is used to generate the control voltage for our automated gain circuit. Why is this better? Well, this is also called a delay automated gain circuit. Why is that? Well, we need a negative voltage to negatively bias our second diode, and only when the signal is larger than the negative voltage, only then does it get detected. That means that for very small signals, you do not get the automated gain control circuit. So only when the voltage exceeds that of our initial negative bias, only then will you start to get automated gain control of your previous stages. So basically for very weak stations, you will have full gain. Only when you exceed a certain threshold will you start to lower the gain. This will give you much better sound quality and reception for weak stations. So I will be choosing this half of the anode to cut, since on the other half we got the pin going out the tube. So I will try to make 2 incisions. Hopefully I didn't break any of the grids, but we will see at the end. Okay, so the anode has been disconnected. Now all I need to do is just try and remove it from these spacers without damaging the tube. And there we have it. We can now clearly see the inside of the tube. We can see the cathode in the middle, covered in a white coating. First grid, second grid, and the third grid. So not a very complicated tube. This is basically all there is to it. We can also see that there's a bit of a shield on this side, probably to prevent any radio signal going to the diodes directly. So you only want to connect the diodes through the pins, not through the pentode tube. And basically this is the EBF double diode pentode vacuum tube. And hopefully we'll be seeing more interesting things next time. Hope you got some useful information out of this. Leave your thoughts in the comments and see you next time. Bye bye.